Hi everyone and welcome back to the Free Up. We were just in the middle of discussing polygamy and we want to talk about the pros and cons of polygamy. Ladies, pros of polygamy. I'm looking at you.
Well, my point of view.
Yes.
Well, or what they were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I guess I guess the pros for them would
Yes.
be like financial gain.
Yeah.
Like she said.
Mm-hmm. You said that too earlier, financial gain as well.
It could be. But the negative side of it would be, you understand, so many families that could
Yeah.
be, fights amongst the children,
Yes.
and also the co-wives. You understand? But for me, it's a no-no.
It's a no-no for you.
So there's no pros.
I don't want it.
It's not for you. So you would not allow your husband to go out and get
No,
another wife?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
All right, Anika.
Whether I would do it or not? Is that what we're asking?
The pros and cons, in your opinion.
Yeah. So definitely the pros would be the extra support
Mm-hmm.
financially, or whether that's just an extra person that's there to help
Yeah.
you with your kids, and just your general situation. I think that's a big pro.
Okay.
Also, when it started, I said one of the reasons it was not for me is because I like my space and my time, but then I was thinking about it. I'm like, actually, I might have more time to myself because then the person would be busy.
Elsewhere, right?
So I was like, but then at the same time, I might get jealous and I have an
Okay.
ego, right?
Yeah.
So I would just leave it at the extra support as a pro.
Okay.
And that's really the only thing I can
financial
think
gain.
of.
Yeah.
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 That's really the only thing.
Yeah. Simone, I think I know exactly what you're going to say, but go ahead and tell us.
Well, no. I think one of the issues here is I think a lot of our thinking is very Western because we're thinking individualistic. When I think about polygamy, I'm thinking collectivist. Again,
Okay.
I know a lot of women right now who are out there with no support. They have no one helping them out.
Yeah.
They're struggling to take care of their children.
Yes.
There's just a lot of things happening with single moms.
Yeah.
If there was something like a polygamous relationship, you know how much easier it would be if you knew you had someone you could trust who, let's just say you're stuck at work. You're not sitting here worrying about, oh my God, who's going to pick up the children? You know that there's someone who you can trust, who can go home, someone's taking care of cooking. That's another thing too. No one's thinking about the support. Let's count on that.
For sure.
You're not having to worry about cooking food all the time.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about cleaning. There's someone who, while you're bathing your children, they could be washing the dishes. They could be helping keep the house clean. Realistically, we don't want to give our man pum pum every single night. Okay? So I'm telling you. So to even know that, look, my pum pum's gonna get a break, and you're with someone who I can trust. It's all about trust for me. It's like someone who I know is going to be there, who I know this man's not going out, even though he could be anyways. At least for me, it's a little bit more control. And I'm
Yes.
thinking again of the community. Our community, there is a problem. There is too many single women struggling. And for me, I have a good man. I've thought about it. Could I share him? You know what? If I had to for a sister who's
Yes.
out there struggling, I would, because it's
You
not
would.
always about me. We need to get out of that thinking. It's not always about you. Yes,
Wow.
you hit it on the head. It's an ego thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
You cannot hold anyone to yourself,
That's true.
period. You can't do it whether you think you can. He's mine, he's mine. First of all, he's not even yours. You understand?
So I guess those are the pros. Like that's
Those are
one of the
is
pros
the
in,
support and the community.
especially in North America. But here's, I think, from looking at it from a different angle in terms of the statistic, talking about how many single women are actually there. What are the reasons for that? I mean, we see, I think a lot of our men are incarcerated, right? And I think that's a completely different.
They're dying at large rates.
Dying as well, also. Yeah.
Homicides. Even with this boom of the gay movement.
Yes.
Let's be real, we're losing some of our men to that too, right? So I don't know. Like for me, with the limited amount of men,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to do something, or there's gonna be a lot of lonely, bitter ass women out in this world, angry. And you have to also remember something. This affects the children too.
Yes.
How many more children are we gonna bring into this world to have no father in their lives?
Yeah.
So they can go on and think that that's okay. right? There needs to be some structure. And if polygamy might just have to be the way. As much as we're trying to fight it, it may have to be the way.
But you see, you painting this beautiful picture.
It's not all beautiful. I'm
Right.
sharing from a pros and cons.
Yes,
These are my
absolutely.
pros.
These are the pros.
These
Yes.
are the pros
Yes.
for it, okay?
So what are the cons in your
Yes.
in your
So what
perspective?
is the other side now?
Okay, so cons, yes. You know what? I personally don't know. Well, yes, I do. I do know polygamous families. A lot of Somalian women that I work with are in polygamous relationships. Some of the cons are, yes, there is bitterness and jealousy.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the real of it because
Yeah.
we're human first.
Yes.
Right? Sometimes there is disproportionate attention given to one
Absolutely.
wife
Yes.
or one set of children
Yes.
than the other, right? So there's those things that do come up. I work with a family where the one he's married to her cousin, right? But she gets the short end. She's the one who's getting the short end of the stick.
Of the stick.
Her son's autistic. So her
okay.
son has special needs, right? But of course now, because the father wants to distance himself from that,
Yes.
he'll spend more time with the other family. So
Yeah.
there is a lot of cons to that. Again,
Yeah.
everything needs to have some balance.
Yes.
But I think if it's structured the right way, it can work.
Do you think that perhaps that could be as a result of the stigma surrounding polygamy? And it's in North America especially, it is not considered as the norm type of relationship to be in. And therefore, the cultures having migrated to Canada that were previously practicing polygamy, now they find themselves in a culture where the ideal relationships should be you should be in a monogamous relationship, and as such, perhaps the man is unable to give all the attention that he should be because he does not want perhaps the neighbors to know that he has this house and that house, and he's sharing all of those women at the same time, right?
Yeah, that would definitely be frowned upon by most people in our culture, I think, in the Western culture. I know you mentioned that there were a couple of groups that practice that, but I think the majority of people, it would be frowned upon, that type of behavior.
I mean, well, in the Western world, for example, here in North America, they do have polygamous relationship, though it's not a black society, it's the Mormons, which are
the Mormons.
predominantly white.
Yes.
It works for them.
It does.
They call it sister
wives. Yes.
It works for them because they train them from when they're young.
Yes.
Okay, you're gonna grow up, you're gonna share your husband with another man. So it's embedded in them.
Yes.
They are conditioned to understand and know. And they get married at 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
So you are groomed in that society where you have, okay, my sister is the first wife and I'm the second wife. And it's acceptable.
Yeah.
So if our husband is with her, it's okay.
It's okay.
Then tomorrow she is with me. You understand? So we who are not brought up in that environment, it's going to be difficult.
It's hard.
That is a very good point.
Around.
It is.
It.
It is.
Imagine waking up tomorrow and you're used to having your man next to your side, and he's next door.
He's right next door.
How are you gonna feel?
Yeah.
It's new.
I don't know how I would.
A lot of evil thoughts will run through your mind, right? So it's something that can't just happen overnight. I mean, if you were to entertain it, you have to do a lot of research, a lot of thinking.
Yes.
And say, is this what I really want? Do I want to expose my children to this?
Yeah.
And I think we're beginning to see a shift in certain women, right? Asking now for perhaps to start practicing polygamy a little bit more openly, and they're becoming, I don't know whether it is as a result of the realization that there are not enough men out there, and therefore we must end up sort of just accepting it and just starting to share type of thing. So I've seen several videos out there, and even women on the news saying that, hey, they're open to the idea of polygamy, and in fact, yes, and they want it to actually be made legal.
I'm wondering, and just going back to your point about, some of the reasons why we're in this position, right? When we're even talking about polygamy. And being financial or lack of men, lack of black men specifically. And I'm wondering, can't the black community step up in other ways that don't involve polygamy? So for example, we know, I was watching the Red Table Talk the other day, and they said that 77% of kids that are adopted are adopted by white people.
Yes.
So black people are not adopting kids.
Yeah.
Right? And and there's a lot of black kids that need to be adopted.
Yes.
So there's ways that you can support and help each other, the people that were in need that don't really involve involve polygamy.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
getting married and moving in and creating, like what about big brothers, big sisters,
Yes.
or like different things
Yeah.
like that to help with some of those issues.
Right.
Or coming, like there's some people nowadays, they come together with their friends and
Yeah.
they purchase a home,
Yes.
right? Because it's so expensive to buy a house now.
Yeah.
It's like rather than saying, okay, now we need another woman that
Yeah.
I'm going to have to marry, can you say like, how about we try to do this with other members of our community, like with another couple, for example. There's always going to be some kind of drama,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean, involved in that, but at least that way, you know, you're not having to make a decision that maybe you're not fully comfortable with.
So I guess in your opinion, then you were almost saying that polygamy would sort of be a band-aid fix for certain socioeconomic issues that we're actually facing as a community then.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of what I'm saying. Yes.
Absolutely.
I agree with you. I think there's other ways we can step up. I
Mm-hmm.
do. But
Yeah.
I think we cannot completely, if we're going to consider other things, we still have to consider polygamy. We can't just say,
Right.
let's just do this and then be like, nah, polygamy, we're not ever doing it. Nope, not
Yes.
sharing, because
Yeah.
you're just completely excluding something from a conversation, right? Like, I agree with you. We can
Yeah.
bring in other things, but polygamy still should be an option on the table for everyone to consider. I would say everyone, do your research. Do your research on it. See if you like it. Maybe speak to women. Because I don't know, do you know women personally? Like, I know I do know women personally.
Yeah.
I know how it does affect women negatively.
Yes.
Someone, do you know people personally? in
Yes,
this?
I know people personally. In fact, I can speak of family.
Okay.
Personal family that were in polygamous relationship, as well as friends who are byproducts of polygamous relationship. And that is what I was saying that it is for certain individuals, but at the same time, it isn't. You know, it does. So some of the pros, like you were mentioning, it is the support that you end up receiving. I think the support is the most important thing, because looking back once again into the history of our culture, it was to continue on that legacy. And at one point in time, women are not necessarily empowered and had the economic capability of actually being able to just support themselves. And they needed the wealth of the men and their families to take care of them. So you were married into a family. And once you're married into that family, you needed to start contributing into the economic strength of that family, right? But now in today's world, I mean, women are working, and sometimes in some places, women are the breadwinners, right? The main breadwinners, and they're making a lot more than their men. And so you can argue either way that, yes, polygamy, it's still great. You know, and for those that it works for, well and good, go right ahead and go on and practice polygamy. But yet, at the same time, you also have to understand that it is not necessarily something that everybody is going to go for, right? And therefore, I think that we just need to be happy and, you know, you do you, polygamy and polyandry. We're going to be talking about polyandry very soon because, go ahead.
To add to that,
Yes.
in some parts of Africa, the reason why they would introduce polygamy is if, for example, let's say we marry the same man.
Yes.
You are not able to produce children.
Yes.
Then they will say, okay, well, you're getting old. Your eggs are drying up.
Yes.
So bring in a younger girl.
They will not even wait until you got old. In the first year of marriage,
2 years.
the first year, second year,
You don't produce.
not a child, immediately there is another wife
second
that
wife.
comes in. And in fact, sometimes it's even the woman who goes out to seek another woman to come in and bear children
That's what I'm
for
saying.
their husband, right?
So it all depends on the reasons why you're
doing
in
it.
that
Yes.
polygamous
Good point.
relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that happens, you know. So and then the woman will bring in, or let's say you have children, but they're all girls.
Yes.
And in Africa, you know, the men, they like the male child.
Yes.
So because she's only bringing females.
Females, yeah.
And in my family, we have lots of males. It's like, okay, come and bring in a male for us.
Yeah.
Even though the men determine.
I was going to say the man determines. If you're having
Yes.
all
That's
girls,
what
that's
they
on
say.
you.
Yeah, that's what they say. That
Yeah, but we know that now. But once upon a time, it was the women. It's your fault. You cannot bear a child. You cannot bear me a son. I need a son. Come on, give me a son. But I have to go back once again to the culture itself. You do find that sometimes in certain cultures as well, the man will pass on, and then the brother will take on the wife of the brother and carry that forth. right? So, but then just to wrap this topic up, I was going to talk about, you asked me a question. I just wanted to answer you the question about the disadvantages of polygamy. Now, I wanted to say that one of the things that I have seen is the attention, and you talked about that. It's the attention. And you find that because the man has so many kids, he cannot keep up. Sometimes some of these men don't even know how many kids they have. And the kids come in and it's like, daddy, 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 daddy. And he's like, and which one are you? You know, especially if you already had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 15, 18, 20, and you're like 21, 22. By that time, he's completely forgotten and he cannot keep up anymore. So that attention, and including the women too, some of the women are not, they feel neglected. They're not getting the kind of attention that they should be getting from their men, right?
And they're of course not permitted to date outside or to fill that void.
Oh no, they cannot date outside, but I'm sure Simone has an opinion on that, and we are going, so we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back, and we're going to listen to Simone talking to us about polyandry,
Yes.
right?